What's up, big baller shot callers? Big Ken here. Welcome from the Grid Room Sports Talk Show, joined by my co-host Brandon. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, Ken. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Our co-host Monty is out today, taking care of his kids, which is obviously more important than the show. I know he went to breakfast with his kids and he had to do some other errands with his son. I know his son wanted to do something, so good on you, Monty, for being a good dad and hang out with your two kids, your son and daughter, man, in El Paso, Texas. So we'll get you the next round, brother. A lot to talk about today. So topic for the show is mostly going to be NFL today. We'll hit up college football top 25 a little bit. There is a couple ranked games going on in the top 25 today, but mostly NFL talk today. Tua got a concussion again. Dallas gets whooped against New Orleans. Ravens are 0-2, surprisingly. A lot of quarterback talk going on with Caleb Williams, struggling so far this year. Bryce Young being benched. Kirk Cousins winning a primetime game comeback victory, against Philadelphia Eagles. Jayden Daniels did get his first win, with Washington. So there's a lot of quarterback talk today. Malik Willis did good in Green Bay. He was limited. He won the game, him coming in for the Green Bay Packers. So a lot of NFL quarterback talk this for today's show. And of course, we'll cover all the NFL games like we always do. Jets look good on Thursday night. I know you're happy winning, wearing your Jets gear.
So happy.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. I love Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers looked like Aaron Rodgers. That's for sure. He looked like he's back.
Love Aaron Rodgers.
But let's hit up college football like a little bit. So right now we have a game going on with number 3 Ohio State playing Marshall at Ohio State at Columbus, Ohio. But surprisingly, it's a close game going into early in the second quarter. It's 14-7 Ohio State. But Ohio State, Marshall punted the ball, but the Ohio State punt return muffed the ball inside his own 10-yard line. So look, they're at commercial right now, but it looks like it's first and goal for Marshall inside Ohio State's 10-yard line. So they might be able to tie the game up 14-14. Marshall looked good in their opening drive, like a big 7 or 8 minute drive, eating up half the quarter to go ahead 7-0. So that was surprising. And then Ohio State did what Ohio State does. They score very quickly, on 3 or 4 plays each possession. I think Marshall has 26 plays and Ohio State has less than 10 plays. So Marshall is eating up a lot of clock in this game. But I expect Ohio State to start blowing them out in the second half. It might be close going into halftime, but I think Ohio State's going to do what Ohio State does going into the second half, man. I don't know if you were paying attention to that game or not, Brandon, but yeah.
I actually was. As soon as you started the stream, after the muffed punt, there was a penalty called. Marshall, I don't know what the penalty was, but I just watched Ohio State repunt and they fair caught it. So it's
oh my god, I didn't see that.
yeah.
That's a morale killer.
Yeah,
that's a morale killer. So belay my last. Marshall does not have the ball first and goal inside the 10-yard line.
Yep.
It must have not been a post scrimmage kick where they would still have the ball. Because if it was a post scrimmage kick foul, they would still have the ball. They would just be pushed back. It wouldn't be first and goal, but it'd be they'll still have the ball within the 25-yard line probably. So yeah, sure enough, Ohio State just ran a play. Another big hitter. This dude's running for a touchdown. See Marshall.
Yeah.
He's in. Yeah, Ohio State's scoring on 1 or 2 plays.
Yeah.
Marshall's eating clock. But yeah, so far, all right. So Ohio State's pulling away. So much for being a close game at halftime. It's 21-7. So all right. So we'll stop talking about that one. Yeah, Ohio State has really good running backs this year. They have 2 really good running backs. So and of course they always have receivers. Ohio State's always good offensively. Every year, Ohio State puts a lot of players in the NFL offensively. There are challenges on defense sometimes, but the last couple of years, Ohio State's been pretty good defensively also. So they're a top 5 team this year.
They are.
Let's get into some top 25 matchups, though. So since it looks like Ohio State's going to pull away like we thought they would, so number 11 USC at number 18 Michigan. Only thing Michigan has going for them is that it's at home. Michigan has no offense. Quarterback play is horrible. Like I said, the past 2 or 3 weeks, their defense is good, but they're not as good as they've been in the past. They are still very good, but they're not as dominant. You can move the ball on them a little bit, especially with them being on the field like 70% of the game. They're going to get tired. So you can hit some big hit. You can get some big plays against them. I know against Texas, Texas converted a lot of third downs, had them on third down a lot, and they couldn't stop Texas on third down. Um, uh, I was surprised that their game against Arkansas State, they only won 28-18. Like they're supposed to blow that team out. I don't think I was at home or away. It was 21-3, so it looked like Michigan was going to blow them out, but then the final score was 28-18. So I don't think they did much of offense. I think it was 21-3 like late in the second quarter out. So obviously Michigan did not do much in the second half, only one more touchdown. And Arkansas State kind of hung in there. So I think Michigan is in a lot of trouble this year. I know, like Monty said, like give it some time. We'll see how they are in week 5, 6, 7 of the season. But I think Michigan's in a lot of trouble. I want them to win with my heart wearing a Michigan hat, but we'll see how for real USC is going into Michigan, going into the big house, and see how good USC really is if they can win in the big house, because they're ranked 11. Their offense is doing really good. Their quarterback that took over, Caleb Williams, is doing really good. USC is always good on offense. Their question was their defense being horrible. Like the past 4 or 5 years, they look like they're better defensively. So I think Michigan can lose this game. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, I think Michigan can lose too. USC, like you said about that defense, they opening game when they held LSU to what was it, 20 points or 20 points or less. Yeah, that's pretty good if you can hold a Brian Kelly offense with especially with those LSU receivers that they still have. I don't know how they come out with all these wide receivers that are NFL ready as a sophomore, freshman. These
every year,
machine.
man. Wide receiver university, like Iowa's tight end university, LSU was wide receiver university, man.
Yeah, they put out some talent that position. Michigan still they still have that defense. I heard they're starting that scrambling quarterback that y'all have.
Orgy,
Orgy, yeah. They're starting him. It's in the Michigan environment, so that young USC quarterback Morris or something like Moss.
Yeah, he's looking good the first 2 weeks. Yeah, he might struggle a bit. Like I said, Michigan has an advantage at home. That's the only thing I think they got going for him is at home.
Yeah, exactly. And this isn't Southern California weather. This isn't inside Allegiant Stadium. So this is going to be definitely football weather on the road in a hostile environment. So we'll see if they can throw it together. I think this is pretty much up for grabs. I would go with USC for the win. I really like the way that they've been playing football with the defense and how the quarterback's been playing. They definitely moved the ball and they definitely put up some points on there. And that defense can definitely make it a lot easier for that offense to, even if they can't score in every drop. So just the way that Michigan struggles offensively is what scares me about their chances to win.
They can't score enough, man. Their defense is going to be on the field the whole game. And right now it's not cold in Michigan, but I know what you're saying. It still is a very long trip. This is a big road trip for USC, so they will be challenged because this is a very far trip from since USC moved into the Big Ten with that merge. So but I'm watching Ohio State game and everyone's wearing short sleeves. I think they're still like around 75, 80 degrees in the Midwest. It's warm.
Yeah.
So, but it's the road trip. This is a very long trip for USC. But Michigan, man, they struggle, man. They just struggle. But
they do.
They got the advantage being at home with their home crowd. And, this will be a test for that young USC quarterback, like I said, playing in front of 100,000 people when they're all booing against you. That'll be the test for him. But I think Michigan's getting in the field too long. I expect USC to pull away like in the second half. It might be close to halftime, but I mean, don't be wrong. I want Michigan to win. This is one of these games I want to be wrong, but I expect Michigan to lose this game. I hope I'm wrong since USC is playing, a road game in a hostile environment. But we'll see. But I expect Michigan to lose, man. They just can't do enough on offense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But a new quarterback with a new scheme and the way that he plays is totally different. This could be what changes.
This could save their season. You're right. This could like they made the move to start Origin. Said this could be a difference maker, and I hope you're right there, brother. I hope so. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, I expect USC to win, but I don't expect anyone to pull away from this game. I think it's going to be one of those like
It's
it's
gonna be
going
one
to come
of
down to
those
the fourth
seesaw
quarter.
games. Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Yeah,
If Michigan can put up some points and then Michigan's defense can get some turnovers, that Michigan's defense might need to score. They
yeah.
got picked 6 against Fresno State. They might need something like that again, man.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
they need to put their defense might need to score a touchdown. The next one is Utah at Oklahoma State. I don't really know much about that. I'll go with the home team, Oklahoma State. Utah's always tough, always solid, but Oklahoma
Mhm.
State traditionally usually can put up a lot of points. I mean, the Big 12 is usually a very good offensive conference. They usually don't have much defense, but I don't know. Utah is normally good defensively, but I think Oklahoma State's going to be too much for Utah. It should be a close game because 12-14, that should be an evenly matched game, but I think Oklahoma State will win just because they're at home. Don't really know much anything about that except that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That yeah, that's going to be that'll be a fun game to watch. I hope at least.
Yeah.
I'll be pulling for Utah. The buddy I'll be watching it with, he's a big Utah fan. So
Right.
yeah, I'll be. But for my other buddies who I know that are Oklahoma State fans, hope you
Yeah.
guys win too. I want everyone to have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, I'm just hoping for good football. If I said that I knew anything about these teams specifically, I'd be lying. But Zach Wilson's little brother is playing for Utah. I know that.
That's right.
He's better than his brother, I've heard. I'm not surprised. But I'm really hoping. Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to win this one, but it's always safe to go with the home team. We'll yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's
I'll
a
be
good,
enjoying the
exciting
game.
game. On paper, it looks like it should be a
Yeah,
great game. Hopefully, it comes
it
down to
should.
and it's a nail biter. Yeah, where it's very
Yeah,
exciting. It's good college football where everyone it's a good barn burner game.
yeah. I know. I haven't seen them play really, but I know Ollie Gordon is like this legit NFL prospect running back, the Oklahoma State running back.
Yeah,
So I'm really excited to watch him. I haven't seen him play yet.
yeah. Oklahoma State's usually always good offensively. The Big 12 in
Yeah.
general is.
Oh yeah.
Utah's
Oh yeah.
more of a grinder team. They play very tough smash mouth football. You
Yeah.
know, um,
Speaking of that, who won? I had plans. I had to leave last night with 7 minutes left in that game. But who won
Nebraska and
Nebraska?
Illinois.
Yeah, who won that?
Illinois won in overtime.
Whoa, no, really?
Yeah, I forgot to
Oh
mention that.
man.
That could have been, yeah, since we're talking about college football. Yeah, my brother-in-law Chris was texting about that. Of course, I couldn't watch it because I'm doing Friday Night Lights. But yeah, they won in overtime, 24-21. So yeah,
Man. One thing I noticed about that game, just that you could probably relate to, the crowd. You know how it is with the home crowd, but I felt like the officials in that game. I'm not saying they did a bad job or made the bad calls, but it just felt like they did a really bad job at managing that game. There was
I didn't
so
see
many
it at all. I'll have to
stoppages.
watch. I'm sure there'll be some chatter about that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the crowds. I mean, they would make some very obvious good calls, and the crowd would still boo because it wasn't in Nebraska's favor. Whatever.
yeah,
That's how it goes. But
right.
at the same time, it just felt like the officials just didn't manage the game properly. There were so many stoppages, so many things. I feel like if they were actually looking at the right things that they should have been looking at, they wouldn't have had to stop to review to, yeah, play stands. Yeah, the play stood. You looked at it right the first time. You don't have to double
Yeah,
check yourself.
yeah. Their
It's
mechanics might have been off. Yeah,
yeah, I feel that way too. I was just like, wow, so many stoppages. The game went on for so long. It shouldn't have gone that
yeah. You
long,
hate
but
really long games.
yeah,
That was one
yeah,
really good thing about our game yesterday, man. We were in and out there quick, man. That game went so fast yesterday. Our Friday Night Lights
yeah.
game. Our first half only took 1 hour, like 59
Oh
minutes.
wow,
Yeah,
that's a fast.
we were
Fast.
moving fast, man.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
first possession of the game, the team that got the ball had the ball 8 minutes for the opening possession touchdown. So that first quarter just flew by, man. I mean,
Yeah.
flew by. So that
Yeah.
was nice, man. That was such a fast game, man.
Oh yeah.
Second half was a little bit slower, not quite as fast paced, but it wasn't slow. But this wasn't quite as fast. But it wasn't bad. It was kind of normal. But
Hmm.
that first half was so freaking quick. 'Cause that first quarter just flew by, man. All right, Tennessee at number 6, Tennessee at number 15, Oklahoma.
Mm.
Tennessee is good. My dad keeps on talking about them because my mom and dad live in Tennessee now. We're not from there originally, but like I told you before, me and Monty are taking the trip out to Tennessee. You know, to watch Tennessee play Kentucky on November 2nd. That could be a good game because Kentucky gave Georgia a good game last week. But Tennessee is not. Sorry, Dad, I'm not against Tennessee, so I want this to come out the wrong way. But Tennessee has not played anybody. They've had cupcakes all 3 weeks. Well, North Carolina State may not have been a cupcake, but most of their opponents have been games they're supposed to win big, and they have. So this will be a test for them because they're on the road. I don't think Oklahoma has a defense. Oklahoma is another school in the Big 12 where they have really good offense. I'm not sure about the defense, but they are playing out west in Oklahoma. That's a long trip for them. I expect Tennessee to win, but I won't be surprised if they lose either because they're playing so far away, and this is their first real test. So this will really see where Tennessee is at, with this game. But I think it's going to be. I think they'll still win because they're really deep. I know they're loaded, on offense for sure. I think defensively they are too, but definitely offense. They got a lot of firepower. I don't know how good Oklahoma is defensively. That's why I still think Tennessee will win, but I think it's going to be close. I don't think they're going to win 56-7, 56-0 like they've been doing. They've been scoring like almost 70 points in some of these games, but they're playing against teams that are barely D1. They're almost like FBS, like D2 like level teams, So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know where to gauge Tennessee yet. I think they're definitely good. I just don't know where to gauge them since they haven't played anyone in their conference yet. We don't know like where they're really at.
Yeah. A lot of the scores that I saw from their highlights have just been like completely blown coverages or not hitting the gaps, and these guys have just gone straight just for easy long touchdowns.
Yeah.
Even though they do work it down the field good as well. So I think Tennessee's going to win. Also, I love that quarterback they've got. He's legit. He'll probably be in the NFL. I expect him
I
to
agree.
be.
They have a really good quarterback, and that's big for any
Yeah.
level, high school, college, NFL. You need a good
Yep.
quarterback on offense. That will make or break you for sure.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we're talking about with Michigan. We'll see what happens with Michigan with today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need good quarterback play, man.
Now, what you said about State not being a cupcake, I don't know if you saw the end of the first quarter against Clemson. They are absolutely a cupcake.
They are now. Yeah, I don't know. I just know they started the season ranked or whatever. No, they weren't ranked, but they did.
They were, yeah. They were like
year.
20. They were like 21st, I think, starting out.
Yeah, they start off like in the 20s. Of course, they're out of the top 25 now, but yeah.
Well, they were losing to Clemson end of the first quarter, 28-0.
Yeah, they are a cupcake. Okay, so they were overranked.
Yeah.
They're over. Yeah, they're overhyped this year.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we both expect Tennessee to win, but it could be a challenge for them because they're on the road and it's a long ways away. But I don't think Oklahoma has a defense. I could be wrong, but they can score a lot of points. It might be a shootout game. So, let's get into the NFL, man. A lot of topics in the NFL. Oh my God. Let's talk about this Tua concussion. I haven't checked my phone. Obviously, I know he's out, but do you think he's going to retire? Have you heard anything about? Has he said anything about that yet? I know he's out for like at least a while because man, Tua's had a lot of concussions. I know he did pretty good last year, not having anything, but the year before he had like 2 or 3 concussions, like back-to-back weeks. The one looking really bad on Thursday Night Football, and they're questioning Miami Dolphins, medical staff about why if he got evaluated for concussion protocol properly, and like he's in I don't know. I really like Tua, but I think he's in I don't know. He might need to retire. I don't know. That's his decision, but it's not looking good, man. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it's sad to see. I mean, he a lot of people don't think he's that good. Whatever. He plays well for that team.
He does. He's the heartbeat of Miami's team.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a really strong arm, I noticed. His arm strength isn't the greatest, I noticed. That's the one weakness I see is he doesn't have a whole lot of arm strength.
No, he's extremely accurate. I will say he's one of the
very
most
accurate, but his arm strength is questionable. Yeah.
That's fine. Chad Pennington was that way.
There are some guys that are like that. As long as you're accurate, you don't throw late. If you throw late with no arm strength, you're gonna get some pick sixes.
Every time. At that level, every time you're getting picked. I think it is his 5th concussion in his career. I hope he can find a way to stay healthy. He should probably be wearing those new helmets they have. maybe that would help. I don't know, but his decision to retire is up to him. It's no, it's his body, and nobody wants to see him get hurt. Nobody. So we just hope that whatever decision he makes, it's what's best for him.
I
And
agree.
yeah, I haven't heard anything about any decision
I
he's
haven't heard about
making.
anybody
Yeah,
yet. I mean,
I think
he
it's too
might come
soon.
back,
Also,
but he
yeah,
might come back if he's definitely healthy. If he misses 3 or 4 weeks, he's like, "Hey, I'm ready." Then I won't think it's a mistake because he knows better than anyone else, and so does the medical staff. So, but I would say, hopefully, this does happen. If he does come back and he gets like another concussion, like in the middle of the year, I think for sure that would be it. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he can't. But he was
No,
unscathed last year, where he stayed healthy, which was good to see. But man,
mhm.
because my cousin's husband, Mike, is a Miami Dolphins fan. That was the one thing he's talked about this year is hopefully Tua stays healthy, man. So he kind of got the curse knocking on some, like man. So that
Yeah,
sucks. Um,
yeah.
my dogs are barking like crazy. Someone must be here. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Oh my God, we're going nuts. Let me shut my door. Hold
All
on, people. We're having a technical delay.
right.
All right, I'm back. So my dogs, someone must be at the door. My dogs are going nuts. They noticed somebody, but I didn't hear the doorbell ring, but they noticed someone outside. Um, let's go to the next quarterback. You might know about this because you got some North Carolina roots. Bryce Young being benched. I don't know the whole story, but I'm surprised he's being benched because I don't think it's his fault. I haven't seen their games, but I just think he's on a really bad team. He's got no talent around him. I don't know why they're benching him. So I don't know about that. I kind of think that's questionable, but I haven't like really seen his play to know what's going on for sure. But I think it's questionable this early in the season to bench him. What do you think?
I feel like he should have been benched the last season. You can't draft players and expect them to be drafted just to start
Yeah,
because you have to
to
develop
learn.
these
Yeah,
players. Yes, you draft players to develop them. And sometimes you draft players because you're like, hey, he's better than everyone we have on the team already. We can plug him in to start right now. But that's usually at skill positions, not the quarterback. And
yeah,
the Panthers have done a terrible job not only developing him, but surrounding him with talent. Like, what's a Jets reference with Sam Darnold? He had how many? He had Todd Bowles his first season. Then he had Adam Gase, which that you can't regress any more than that. He was awful. And then they had another. I think he had 3 offensive coordinators in his first 3 seasons. And
yeah,
then he goes to San Francisco, where he has a real coach and he has stability with a real system and a scheme in the way that they want to play. Now he goes to Minnesota, and it's only 2 games, but he's played very well. And he's got a great offensive line in Minnesota. He's got a very good veteran running back in Aaron Jones. He's got the best receiver in football, and he's really minimized his mistakes. He's been throwing accuracy as he could show,
absolutely.
and he's been playing good football. And the defense has helped him as well. So you give him a team that also has a defense to where you're not pressured to score as many points. The Carolina Panthers have traded away everybody worth anything on their team without receiving first round compensation to begin with. Brian Burns is with the Giants. They got a second round pick for him. McCaffrey didn't even get a first round for him. DJ Moore, not even a first round pick for him. And then Jeremy Chin, the safety, their best defensive back, traded as well. They have done nothing to build a defense to basically stop the other team from scoring. They have given away his best weapons for minimal compensation. And they didn't even have a good offensive line to begin with because they all retired, and then they just don't even draft for the offensive line or sign the best offensive lineman in free agency to begin with. So he should have never been starting. He should have been sitting and learning. They should have just given the job to Andy Dalton.
Right.
But they just rushed it, and he just has no confidence. He threw that pick in the second quarter, and he just looked defeated. He looked like he didn't want to be there. He wanted to give up, and that's just what his body language showed afterwards. He had the
Yeah.
most completions of all time for under 100 yards in that game last week. He's not. He's just going with the quick reads to just get it out of his hands because he's going to get hit very soon.
Yeah. It's
Um,
not his fault. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to be interest to really get traded to another team. Um, I I would love to have Bryce Young, honestly, if I were the Jets. If you can give up a fifth round pick for him to sit the bench, That'd be great. Let this
Learn
guy sit
Aaron
behind Rodgers
Rodgers.
for another 2-3
Yeah, I
years.
agree. He could be really good. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you said. He should have been learning under a veteran because he wasn't. Yeah.
And now, and
I'm
on
not
top
an
of all
Alabama guy
that,
at all, but I like Bryce Young, man. I do. He seems like a good, humble kid, and I feel bad for him because, yeah, he's in a horrible team, horrible system, and they did him wrong, man.
and this
So,
is his second head coach already too.
yeah. Yeah.
There's no stability, there's no talent, and there's nothing he can do to save this. Like no one player is good enough to save this
Yeah,
team.
he's on a sinking ship and are sinking fast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad.
I agree
It's
with
bad.
you. Caleb Williams, let's talk about him. I kind of think the same thing about him. Like, I'm not for or against Caleb Williams, like, number one pick, but they're already saying like in 2 weeks he's like a bust. I'm like, it's 2 weeks, dude. And
Yeah.
I'm not for or against him. One thing I didn't like about him during this offseason, like it seemed like obviously you can't, believe everything you hear on social media, but it did seem like he was kind of like a little bit. There are some people out there that think he has a little bit of a self-entitled attitude, like demanding things. You haven't played in NFL yet, and you're talking a lot of this and that. Like, you haven't played one freaking snap yet, but he did kind of have that going on, like a little bit. But we were talking about Chicago Bears. They've been horrible in offense for the past several years. They've always had a good defense. I think it's more about their coach. I do not like Chicago Bears coaches Eberflus, whatever the hell his name is. He's going to get fired this year, and I don't like him at all. So I'm not for or against Caleb Williams. It's only been 2 weeks. In the first half last week, he looked good against Houston, Texas. He was getting the ball out of his hands. He was accurate. He had some first downs. Chicago Bears kept the game close, the whole entire way. The third quarter, both quarterbacks struggled. Not just Caleb Williams, but so did the great C.J. Stroud. The other team did anything in the third quarter offensively. They both had 3 punts each in the third quarter. So 6 punts in the third quarter. The Houston got that score in the fourth quarter to get the win, to get a 2-score lead, where the heck it was. But but Caleb Williams struggled in the second half. It didn't go as well in the first half. Of course, week one he struggled, but they got the win because the defense kept him in there. But I don't think he's overrated. I just think it's only 2 weeks, and the problem is Chicago just has struggled on offense for a while, and they seem to have no answer. They did draft some really good guys. They got DJ Moore, who's a good receiver. They got the UW receiver Odunze, which looks like he might be good, but he's still only a rookie. They got that tight end that's decent for them. Can't remember his name, but he's
Cole Kmet. Yeah.
Kmet from Notre Dame, I believe. He's okay. So he has a couple of weapons. DJ Moore did have a lot of receptions last week, but he was frustrated a couple times, because Caleb Williams did miss him on some deep routes. He threw, he had no interceptions in the first half. He did throw 2 picks in the second half, and a couple of them were going towards, DJ Moore. But I didn't really think that was Caleb Williams' fault, because to me those were just like punts. He's under a lot of pressure. He's throwing the ball like 35, 40 yards down the field. They're interceptions, they're like small punts, So he was under a lot of pressure trying to make a play, get the ball out of his hands. Yeah, I don't think Caleb Williams is overrated. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what you think, but I think it's way too early to tell.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And this is Caleb Williams and Bryce Young are just such the opposite, because the Bears got DJ Moore from the Panthers, like great receiver, and then they signed Keenan Allen, he wasn't playing, but
he wasn't playing. That's right. That's another one that could help him out a lot. You're right.
Yeah, and then you draft Odunze, who I thought was probably better than Neighbors, but different offense. Neighbors is the only receiver. He's putting up numbers. He's playing great. I thought Odunze was better, but maybe I'm probably wrong.
He's hurt right now, but he did play that game with a hurt leg. He had like 2 catches. So
I think Odunze is really good anyways. And they got DeAndre Swift for him. Now, the Bears' offensive line is still, it looks very below average. He doesn't have a whole lot of time to throw, but that's kind of how it goes. But this is only the second game. And this is where, while Bryce Young doesn't have the talent, Caleb Williams does. And that's the other half of being a rookie quarterback. Caleb Williams, we saw struggle against the best college defenses. But now he's playing against one of the best NFL defenses in the Texans. Texans are legit. That defense is good.
Yeah.
So you're playing against one of those, the best of the best now, and you're going to struggle. And especially when you making that jump, this is completely different. He struggled at the highest level of the lower level. Now he's at the highest level, the next level. you're going to struggle. And it's only his second game. So once he gets in these scenarios and he sees what the defenses are showing and he can start to read defenses pre-snap, the game is going to start to come faster to him, and you need that experience. Should he be starting right now? I think the team's good enough around him to start, but he
Yeah, he can
needs the
start because he
time
has
and the
talent. Yeah, he
experience.
has some
Yeah,
talent.
yeah, he's not going to get killed. He's going to have people that can bail him out and get some of that, the yards after catch. He's got a running back that can get him some yards too. This
Yeah.
isn't like Bryce Young where he's expected to carry the weight of everyone that can't do anything good at all. But he's got guys that can score some points for him if he just gets it to him at the right place at the right time. But I don't. It's definitely way too soon. I'm not saying he's a bust. It's only 2 games. There's so much of the season left, and he needs all this time to experience to where in year 2, yeah, he might come out a little bit sloppy. But year 3, as long as he's starting every game, you're going to see what he is. And as long as they build up that offensive line and keep these weapons, I think the Bears offense can really eventually put up some points. But it is disappointing to see that you have the first overall pick. You have all this talent, and I can see why everyone's jumping to these conclusions, but you can't jump to those conclusions yet. It's the Bears look good on paper, but I don't think they're there yet because that's still a
No.
tough division, especially the way that the Lions are kind of slacking right now. They just had one loss, but the Lions are still legit. And the Vikings look to be
Minnesota looks
legit, and the
good. Yeah.
Packers could be legit if Love comes back. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
They're in a very tough conference. I mean, division. You're right.
yeah.
Division. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think the Bears got to get their running game going. I like DeAndre Swift, but yeah, they could not run the ball against Houston at all, and that does not help when you have no running game right now, and
Yep.
you're kind of, and he was throwing a lot of short passes. Most of his completions were short passes, so they got to try to get. I mean, there's nothing wrong with short passes half the time. But you can't throw short passes 75% of the time. They have to get the ball down the field a little bit, so
Yep.
they need better play calling um that's why he struggled in the second half because like it worked in the first half. But Houston obviously they do what they always do. They regroup at halftime and they
Mm-hmm.
figured that out, and that's why he struggled in the second half because okay, we're not going to give these little 3 or 4 yard passes. Like maybe they break a tackle and run for a first down. Like that's what was happening in the first half is like they're completing a lot of like 5 yards passes and they're moving the ball away because someone would break a tackle or they would be ahead of the chains being like 2nd and 4 instead of 2nd and 10, like so they're moving the ball first half that way. So but in the second half, Houston just completely destroyed that. And that's where Caleb, but I like how Caleb Williams is fighting though. I respect for him, because he was getting beat up in that game and he was still playing hard. He kind of earned my respect that game because
Mm-hmm.
Houston defense was just pounding him, man. So but he was trying, man.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I had to give him that much, man. Uh, Speaking of rookie quarterbacks, Jayden Daniels got his first win against the Giants last week, a field goal game, I think 21-18. He's ran for a couple. He looks legit. He's been running good, and I don't know about his throwing, but I know the week before he ran for 2 touchdowns in their loss. So he's been running and throwing. I think out of all the rookie quarterbacks right now, it'd be safe to say he looks the best early in the season out of all the rookies coming out. Him being the number 2 pick right behind Caleb Williams. He looks good. He looks okay so far, especially on the running side of things. Have you have
Yeah.
you have you seen him play yet?
Uh, I've just seen some clips from Red Zone here and there. He I think he seems to be doing good. He's my quarterback in my dynasty leagues.
Yeah, nice.
I'm 2-0 in that. So yeah, he's looked to be pretty good, especially running the ball. I know the Redskins Commanders did a lot to uh really try and build up, knowing they had the second pick to take a quarterback. So
Yeah,
I know they went out and they got Eckler and they added some players on defense and offense. So they spend a lot in free agency to try and bolster that roster. And they got their win, which is a lot quicker than they got their wins last season. They were pretty bad, but yeah, I think Daniels will be fine. I'll be paying a little bit more attention to him this week. I think they play at it's the 10 a.m. game for
yeah.
the
They're playing
West
Monday
Coast,
Night
so it's 10 a.m.
Football.
tomorrow.
They're playing Monday Night Football.
Oh, it
Commanders
is
at
Monday. Yeah,
Bengals. They have two
that's
Monday
right.
night games this week. They're one of the Monday night games.
I'll
So
be working. I'll be working Monday night, so I probably won't be able to watch it. But
if it's on, I don't know. I couldn't watch the Monday night game last week because it wasn't on ABC. It was just on ESPN. But sometimes ESPN has the ABC. They're connected, you know. So
okay,
sometimes they'll show it on ABC, but they did not last week. That's why I couldn't watch it. But week
yeah,
one, they were showing Monday Night Football on ABC. So I hope they have one of the Monday night games on ABC so I can catch it on my antenna. So
yeah, for sure.
um the Green Bay quarterback, Malik Willis, he was a D2 guy, right? He got a win. He didn't throw the ball much, but when he completed the ball, they were big completions, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was like 10 out of 12 or 10 out of 14. So he didn't throw the ball very much, but he had almost like 200 yards of passing because his completions were like down the field, like big hitters. I didn't see that game, but you know, that was kind of cool to see him being a D2 guy, wherever he is, you know, or D1. He might have been lower level D1. I don't know, but to see him get a win, that was pretty cool, man. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he was Liberty University.
Liberty. So it's D1,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
was a lower level D1 team. Yeah.
yeah. My brother he still does the camera work at those games, so we got to see every Malik Willis game at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm really hoping they get Josh Jacobs some touchdowns. That would help my fantasy team out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But I think Jordan Love will be back in a couple weeks. I think Malik Willis
yeah,
might be starting tomorrow too. I think Jordan Love is out for he might be starting a couple more games. I think Jordan Love is out for like a month. So hopefully
yeah.
he'll play well.
They said like 2 to 5 weeks
Yeah, you don't know.
initially.
It depends on
So
how he heals. Yeah, but he could
yeah.
miss 2 or 3 more weeks. So
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
see.
and to say, yeah, it'll really help Jacobs if he doesn't fumble at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, no
That
kidding.
was awful. It was so
That was
bad.
awful, especially for
Yeah,
fantasy guys. That would hurt your stats big time. Stuff getting in the end zone like you're fumbling. So yeah.
yeah. He actually was
Um,
on my bench. So I got a lot of good running backs, so he was on my bench. So, but still, that would have been nice.
all right, let's talk about a veteran quarterback before we get into some other things. But Kirk Cousins, talking a lot about rookies, but now we're talking about a veteran quarterback. Kirk Cousins finally got a big primetime win. He gets the game-winning drive, hitting Drake London in the end zone to beat the Eagles. You know, they scored a touchdown within less than 30 seconds to go. I know a lot of people talk about Saquon Barkley because they kicked the field goal, but they left the game. You know, if they would have got a touchdown, they would have made it a 2-score game. But he drops like a big, I guess, third down pass or something, and then they kick the field goal. So Atlanta still has a chance to win the game because I think they're only up by 5 points instead of being up by 2 digits. I mean, 2 scores. So, but this Philly still could have played defense, but they didn't. You know, and Kirk
Mhm.
Cousins just went right down the field to Drake London, scoring under 30 seconds to go to win the game. A very exciting game. I didn't see it, but that game looked back and forth all game. Happy for Kirk Cousins. I know he takes a huge knock on not winning big games, and I think he's looked well at some of the big games they've lost. Some he hasn't, but
Mhm.
I think lately, like in some of his losses in big games, he's played well. The problem was his defense couldn't stop anybody, especially when the Giants upset them in the playoffs last year. It had nothing to do with him. Their defense didn't stop the Giants, you know. So that was surprising because Giants aren't known to be good offensively at all. But I was glad to see Kirk Cousins, get a big win on primetime TV. So what do you think on that one?
I was excited to see the Falcons pull that one out. That was fun to watch. That was a great game. What really got me was Sirianni in the first quarter went for it on 4th and 4, 4th and 3 inside the red zone, and they didn't convert.
Yeah, he's
And
very aggressive. He's overly aggressive, maybe. Yeah.
I agree. That was not a good play call at all. You got to
No.
go for the points. Because of that, if they would have kicked that field goal, so I think it was in the fourth quarter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but okay, no. So they did kick the field goal. Yeah. So it could have been 24-15 if they kicked that field goal to begin with.
Yeah.
Um, and Saquon essentially, so what Saquon did on that drop, the play after they were trying to get the Falcons to jump off sides. Well, Judon stepped in the neutral zone, but Malaga and Dickerson on the left side, they didn't jump. So, and Dallas Goedert, you see him throw his arms up in frustration. Sirianni's yelling at the sideline because they had to call the timeout that they had to burn. But the whole plan for them setting up on that 4th and 3 at the end of the game was to just make the defense jump, and they did, but the offensive line didn't move, in which it didn't force the encroachment or the
Yeah.
offsides. So the defensive also encroachment. So yeah, so that was just a complete like miscommunication and missed opportunity for the Eagles to seal that game away. That's all they were trying to do. And that
Yeah.
had to force them to kick the field goal, which led Cousins to come back. But if you just go for the points and kick the field goal and just go for the points early in the game, get your rhythm, get your footing under your offense, and then you can keep building that momentum to go down the field and score. That's
Yeah.
all you have to do. But no, trying to be flashy, trying to go for the touchdown every time. Don't do it. Just get the
Yeah.
points.
I
That's
agree.
I don't know why they make these decisions to do this. Like Dan Campbell in the playoffs. Why didn't he kick the field goals? Nick Sirianni already. Why are you not just kicking field goals? He just seems to do this all the time. And
Yeah. They're
Eagles
overly
have
aggressive.
Eagles have too much talent to just lose games like this already. I know you enjoy watching it, and I think it's pretty funny the way that they do it. But that it's bad. You gotta just get the points and just win the game. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be cute. Just do
No,
it the old-fashioned way.
I don't like. Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't like coaches that are too predictable and have no balls at all. Like the old Cowboys coach before McCarthy got there. What's his name? Carrot
Oh,
Top.
Garrett,
Jason
Coach
Garrett.
Pop.
I couldn't
Yeah.
stand him because he was very predictable and he had no guts at all. But some guys are overly aggressive though, like where you're like, dude, you're making no sense. Like you are just killing your team because you're just going for it too much. And that's how this Sirianni guy is. The guy before Sirianni was the same way, but it worked for him because he got a Super Bowl win. But it's kind of like 50-50. Can't remember what that guy's name was. I think he went to Jacksonville after that or something.
Oh,
Whatever.
Del Rio.
Peterson or whatever his name
Oh,
was.
Yeah, Doug Peterson. Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes guys are way too overly aggressive. Sometimes you just gotta be smart and, like you said, take the points, man. Like you can completely mess up a game and like get the momentum going the other team's direction when you're not kicking field goals and trying to go for on these 4th and 4s, 4th and 5s. You should just take the points, man. Um, so yeah, but bad. And one thing I'll say
Yep.
before we get to the subject is like that's one thing that's different between high school football and the NFL. Like, how the rules are since we're officials. For high school, if you're in the neutral zone, that's automatically encroachment. But in the NFL, you can
Yep.
get back for the snap. In
Yep.
high school,
Yep.
if you cross the neutral zone, it doesn't matter if you get back. We're supposed to blow the play dead, throw the
Yeah.
flag for encroachment. But
Yep.
NFL, they can get back. If they can get back before the snap, then it's no penalty, man. So
Yep. Yep. And if the center doesn't snap it, but an offensive lineman jumps, then the
yeah,
defense, the defense caused them to
yeah,
jump. So yeah.
right, yep,
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, Dallas got whooped at home against New Orleans. Talk about that real quick before we get into our picks. But Dallas defense did not look good. I think they're the bigger problem. The offense. Everyone talk about Dak Prescott. Yeah. But to me, the bigger problem was the defense. Man, they couldn't stop anything. I mean, Alvin Kamara just destroyed the Cowboys. Derek Carr destroyed the Cowboys. Um, yeah, they couldn't stop anything at all. I mean, CeeDee Lamb got a big touchdown catch. His last catch of the game to make it 21-13. It looked like we might make it a game, but then we just couldn't stop anyone. It was already the score was like I don't know what it was at halftime, but it was like 30 something to 13 at halftime. We were losing by 3 scores, or like it was bad. Just couldn't stop anything, man. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Dallas, man. Um, But me and Monty kind of predicted that this year, like Dallas may not be as good because they might make the playoffs, but they might be like a wild card team in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the division. I never really thought so from the beginning of the year, and that game kind of showed. So, but I was just more surprised how bad Dallas's defense was. Everyone talked about Dak, but to me, it's defense. Our defense sucks, man. So, or I mean, they're good, but they suck. They sucked last week. I don't know how good they are, but last week they definitely struggled, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know where to put their defense at. One really good game in Cleveland and one really bad game at home. So I don't know, man. So, yeah. You got anything on that game?
That was
embarrassing.
pretty hard to watch. That was embarrassing.
I'm glad they weren't showing it on Fox here. They were playing on Fox, but they showed the Seahawks game on Fox, and I was probably glad because I would have pissed.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would have started drinking beer early that game. Like,
yeah, I think the state of Texas probably went to infomercials in the middle of the second quarter.
Yeah, that was bad.
You know, you were talking about veteran quarterbacks before the Cowboys transition. You forgot one veteran quarterback this week.
Who's that?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my God! How would I forget Aaron Rodgers? Sorry, brother. That's your Jets,
good,
man. I'm sorry, man. And we were talking about before our pregame, before we hit record. We got Aaron Rodgers on Thursday Night Football. I'm sorry, brother. Aaron Rodgers looked like the old Aaron Rodgers. Yes, we need to talk about that. We have to talk about number 12, man.
Yo,
yeah, he looked great.
Number 8. He's number 8 now.
Number 8. Well, I just remember being number 12, but number 8. So I can't even get my story straight. But yeah,
you good. He was always number 12, but Joe Namath still has that number.
Yeah, that's right. That makes sense. Yeah, he can't wear Joe Namath's number. Yeah.
No. But man, I got so from the Titans game, it just seemed like in the second half the offense was clicking, but then just Thursday night, I was just worried about just the 3 days off and then you play, but just that the defense just attacked. They haven't blitzed more than 4. They just really have the D-line rush, but
yeah,
they've been blitzing with the linebackers. They've been sending Quincy. They've been sending Sherwood, which I think is smart because we didn't have CJ Mosley, but while CJ Mosley can call out a lot of the signals that he sees pre-snap, Sherwood's just a lot faster and a lot less of a liability in defense. Chuck Clark forced a really good fumble when it was 14-3 that was very crucial to the defense needs to force more turnovers, but I know the Pats aren't what they were. They almost beat the Seahawks. They lost in overtime, but then
that was a good game. I was watching that game. That was a very good game.
It was. And then they did beat the Bengals, so you don't really expect a lot from the Pats this year, but they got one win, they got one loss in overtime, so they've been competing, but to just shut them down like that on just after 2 road games. And Aaron Rodgers, though, man, it was so beautiful. I wanted to cry.
He looked like the old Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he was throwing some dimes, man.
He was dissecting them.
I mean, he's so accurate, man.
Oh, he is. We had 7 different receivers with receptions.
Yeah,
they have the power back with Braylon Allen. He is 20 years old, 6'1", 235
Yes, he was going over some people, man.
Then you have Breece Hall who could just run around anybody. It was just
they look good. They look so good offensively. They finally had better play calling compared to week 1. Yeah, they looked really good. Yeah.
And on top of, to counter from what you just said, after my rant about how disgusted I was with that first game against the Niners, this team, I still stand by too many undisciplined penalties, too many stupid penalties that's killing the offensive and defensive drives, because New England would have been shut out if we didn't have the big lead. They could have kicked field goals at the end of the game, but just the penalties we had to lead them to that field goal, that was just stupid penalties. There was 3 penalties on that drive. 2 were completely stupid on the defense to commit. But no, we're using Braylon Allen. We're using Breece Hall. We're throwing to different receivers. We're letting Rodgers throw the ball. We're doing RPOs. We're doing all the things we were not doing for the first game and a half. And it's finally good to see this offense coming through all the way through an MVP quarterback, which we've never had since 69. It was just so good to see. I'm really excited to see what they do next week. I'm really loving what this Jets offense is looking like as the new identity for this team. It was just beautiful. I love Aaron Rodgers.
It looked like it's starting to shape up what we thought might happen last year, and Aaron Rodgers gets hurt 4 plays into the season. It looks like things are happening like we were hoping that would happen last year with the Jets. So that's cool to see. They looked really, really good. There's no doubt about that, man. Really good. I'm surprised about the Ravens being 0-2, but they've lost 2 close games in a row. The first game against KC, that was a very good game. toe away from tying the game, getting the overtime against KC the first week, the last play of the game. But then I'm surprised they lost to the Raiders, man.
Yeah.
Like 20, they lost by like a field goal or something. Like
Overtime,
the Raiders are rebuilding. Like KC makes
Mm-hmm.
sense because they're the defending Super Bowl champs 2 years in a row, but I did not expect them to lose to the Raiders. So I don't know what's going on with Baltimore, but they're 0-2. So, but I still think they might make the playoffs. It's still early season, but they're playing against the Cowboys. A little bit worried about this game because they're really desperate against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably more
Yeah.
desperate than Dallas being 1-1. So a little bit worried about that game. But we can talk about that when we go over our picks here in a second. So so we're already talking about the Thursday night game. Jets looking good, winning 24-3 over the Patriots. The Giants at Browns tomorrow. Who do you got, man? That both teams struggle on offense. I know that. So this could be a very low scoring game. Who do you got, man?
I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win, but the Browns still have a good defense, a really good defense, and I just can't see Daniel Jones not having 3 turnovers on his own. So I'm going to go with the Browns on this one.
I'm going to go with the Browns too, man. They still got a really good defense. They struggle offensively, but so do the Giants. Daniel Jones got overpaid. I thought he'd be good. He had one really good year, and they upset, Minnesota. Like we're talking about earlier in the show, where I felt bad for, Kirk Cousins because he played a really good game, but their defense looked like crap and they lost, But but Daniel Jones, I don't know what happened to him, but he is not the guy. So I expect the Browns to win. It'll be low scoring, but the Browns will squeak it out on defense. Eagles at Saints, man. The Saints look really good offensively. They've had back-to-back games scoring 40-some plus points. Like they look like they're on fire on offense. Derek Carr looks good. Kamara looks good. I mean, their defense has always been good. Their problem's been their offense, but Derek Carr kind of got it going the last half of the season last year, and it looks like it's carried over into this year. I expect the Saints to win at home, man. I think Eagles will lose again. I think the Saints will start off 3-0 for the first time in a while. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Saints too. They're red hot right now. I'm not going against a team that's already scored 81 points or 85 points in the season.
It's a lot, man.
I think they're gonna take this one. I'm going with the Saints.
This is a tough one. Texans at Vikings. Texans are 2-0. I think the Vikings are 2-0 also, I believe.
Yes.
And they're both 2-0 teams. Like you said earlier in the show, Sam Darnold looks a lot better, like a resurgence of his career being in Minnesota on a better team with playmakers, like you're saying, not playing for a bad team with the Jets, before. So he looks like he looks good. Obviously, Texans are good with CJ Stroud being legit. This is a hard one, man. But they are playing at the Vikings. You know what? I'm going to go for the away team. I think Texans can pull it off. They got a really good defense, too. I'm going to go with the Texans, man. That's hard. This is a very hard one, man.
I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Yeah, it's hard. This is a tough one.
I was looking at this before we before we got on here this morning. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think the Vikings go 3-0 and upset them. It's only a 1.5 point spread. But the Texans are the favorite, but I'm going to go with the Vikings on this one. I think the Vikings squeak it out somehow. Yeah,
this should be a very good game. Hopefully this game is as good as we all think it will be. That's a very tough choice. Probably one of the toughest of the week. Broncos at Bucks. I got the Bucks all the way. That Broncos have a rookie quarterback. They haven't been good offensively in several years either. Quarterback for Tampa Bay looks good. Resurgence of his career, Baker Mayfield. Bucks can be 3-0 also. So Bucks got a big win in Detroit last year. They kind of like got their revenge against Detroit, knocking them out of the playoffs last year in the divisional round game. But Baker Mayfield looks good. Broncos got a rookie quarterback. I expect the Bucks to win at home.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks on this one. Baker's looking great. They still have a offense that even without Brady, with him gone, it's Baker. Offense still puts up points, and the defense still plays well. So, and
Yep.
they're at home. I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Yeah, they got Mike Evans. He's been
Oh
consistent his
yeah,
whole entire career. The
yeah.
Bucks got a good team. This kind of a hard game too, because I don't know where to put this. Packers at Titans. Titans aren't very good. Packers got Malik Willis. He did get his win last week, but he's playing on the road. I think I believe the Titans are 1-1. I think they won in week 1. I can't remember, but I know the Packers are 1-1. I don't know where to put this one, man. I think the Titans might win at home because I'll take the Titans, but I'm really unsure because I still don't know where to place the Packers. I don't think the Titans are very good, but they could win at home because Packers are playing on the road. They got rookie. I'll take the Titans to squeak this one out, man, at home.
Okay. I think the Packers win it. I think the Packers will. I'm gonna go with Matt LaFleur on this one. I think he'll be
Yeah,
able to coach a good enough offense to score enough
yeah,
points against Titans, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game regardless. Packers have a
yeah,
pretty good defense. I think Titans have a better defense than the Packers do,
yeah.
but
That's what I think. Yeah,
yeah, Titans just really struggle offensively with
they do. They
Levis.
do. They do.
Yeah,
They do, man.
yeah.
That,
Tony
that's no.
Pollard's putting up numbers for him.
Yeah, he is. They have TP, so that could help.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Bears at Colts. Man, there's two couple hard ones here. That's a hard one too because Colts. I'll take the Colts. Richardson looks good at quarterback. They're at home. He got hurt middle of the season last year with his shoulder. He looks good. Like I do like Caleb Williams, but I think he might play better. It'll probably be a close game. Bears got a good defense. We know that. They've
Yeah.
always had a good defense.
Hmm.
Bears do have some playmakers around them, but I just don't like their coach, Eberflus. I think he's going to get canned this year.
Hmm. Yeah.
I got Colts win this game because Richardson looks really good in his second year. It was unfortunate he got hurt last year, middle of the season. But he looks good so far. I got Colts.
Yeah, I got the Colts too. I think Anthony Richardson's legit. That guy can play. So I'm going with the Colts on this one. I think him and Jonathan Taylor are going to tear it up on
Yep.
offense and put up some
Yep.
numbers. Bears have a really good defense, but I think the Colts defense is going to be able to hold what the
Their
Bears
defense is
offense
decent
could.
too. Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
got a bad.
yeah.
They're not a slouch defensively.
No, they're not. It's not their specialty, and it's not like a great defense, but I
Yeah,
think they'll be able to stop what the Bears can do right
yeah. The
now.
Bears don't have a whole. I mean, they're play. I don't know about their coach, man.
Yeah, I know you don't
Yeah,
like
that's
him.
the thing with me, man. And their offensive coordinator. I don't know who he is, but both of them. So, um,
Yeah.
Chargers at Steelers. Uh, I'll take Mike Tomlin. Chargers do look good. They're 2-0 with wait, no. Yes, yeah, they're 2-0 with Harbaugh. That is who he's with. I get confused with two LA teams, but yeah. Chargers are 2-0, but the Steelers are tough at home with the terrible towels. I like Mike Tomlin as a coach. It's hard to go against him. But like Monty said, it's hard to predict the Steelers because one week we have them winning, they play like crap, and then another week we have them losing, they look good. But they have
Yeah.
TJ Watt's an absolute monster on defense, so I think he's going to give Chargers a hard time. I got Steelers at home, man.
I think this is the toughest game to pick this
Yes,
week.
yes,
I think TJ Watt's just probably the best defensive player I've seen in my life, honestly. That
yeah.
guy's
He's so dang
unbelievable.
good, man. He's such a
Um,
disruptive guy, man.
you know what's going to be really fun to see in this game? Joe Alt, the right tackle from Notre Dame
Yes,
that they took versus TJ Watt.
yeah. That's
You
gonna be
know,
exciting. And all looks
Joe,
really good so far. Really good.
yeah, his first game against the Raiders, he allowed no pressures when blocking Christian Watkins Christian Wilkins and uh, Max Crosby.
Yeah, that was a
So
surprise. That was a big one against Max
yes,
Crosby. Yeah, he got
yeah,
completely shut out.
yeah, he did. So Alt versus TJ Watt's going to be so fun to watch in the small scheme of the game. Um, I really believe in this Chargers defense and the way that they're playing football with run first. And then I
Yes.
think Herbert can probably escape and kind of work
Yeah.
his magic to just, let's be honest, like not good receivers that he has that he's making good. I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one.
Yeah, it's a
I
tough
think the
one.
one I think the one that we can all pick to win this game is anyone betting the under.
Yeah,
I would bet the under
I
to
would too.
everyone in this game. What 13-12 game wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
It's going to be all field goals.
I agree. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
field goal game, man.
Oh yeah.
Dolphins at Seahawks. Man, Seahawks might start off 3-0. I'm surprised they're 2-0, but
Yeah.
Dolphins with Tua out. I don't know who their
Mhm.
backup. Their backup is what's his name? I can't remember. He might
Skylar Thompson.
Thompson. He
Yeah.
might play better because he has a full week of practice under his belt. He struggled coming into the game for Tua, but he was coming in cold, and he might play like a little bit better. They still have really good receivers with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. If he could hit them,
Yeah.
and they have a good running back, A-Chain's a good running back. I mean, they Seahawks have improved on defense, but I know they have struggled defense for the past 3 or 4 years. They don't have the Legion of Boom anymore. But I don't know about the Dolphins with their offense right now since Tua's out. I just don't know. This is another tough one for me. But I'll take the 12s at home, man. I'll go with the Seahawks, man. But there's like 3 or 4 games in a row where it's just hard for me to pick. I could be wrong on all of them, but since Dolphins don't have Tua, I still don't know this all depends what Skylar Thompson can do and if Miami can get their running game going with A-Chain. But I'll take the Seahawks. The Seahawks start off 3-0. That'll be something crazy because I did not expect this with their new head coach. But I'll take the Seahawks, man. Who do you got, brother?
I'm going with the Seahawks. I was wondering why they played Skylar Thompson because I thought they had Mike White, but apparently
Yeah,
Mike White he went to the Bills.
yeah, I didn't know that either. You must have looked that up right now. Yeah, yeah, I
I'm,
forgot
I'm
about
looking it up right now. He signed 2 years with the Dolphins, and then they've released him after 1 year. Like
that.
I would,
Crazy.
I would pick the Dolphins to win if they had Mike White,
Yeah,
but I'm
absolutely.
not. I'm going with the Seahawks. Uh, man, Mike White can play.
Yeah, he can. Absolutely.
Skylar Thompson can't. I'm sorry, he hasn't done anything good for them.
No, he's a third stringer. Nothing, no disrespect towards him, but he's a third string quarterback trying to start in the NFL right now. But he does have one. He has a full week of practice, so he won't come in cold in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
He might play a little bit better. Like I said, it depends if they could run the ball with A-Chain, that other guy they got. A-Chain's pretty good.
yeah. They got A-Chain Moster and Jalen Wright from
Yeah,
Tennessee. He's that dude's fast.
yeah, he's very fast. If they
Yeah,
could run the ball, they might make it a game because I think the
yeah,
Seahawks do struggle against the run sometimes. So it depends if they could run.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
um, This is the way the next one, Panthers at Raiders. Panthers look horrible, so I got the Raiders. That's kind of an easy one. Raiders aren't very good either. They're rebuilding, but they're better than the Panthers. They beat Baltimore, which surprised me, like I said. So I got the Raiders in this one. Panthers just got nobody. I know Andy
Yeah.
Dalton's starting, but he's not the Andy Dalton of old. When with the Bengals, they had a run with AJ Green. They made the playoffs a lot, but they couldn't get any playoff wins. Unfortunately, I think it was like 0-4 or 0-5 with the Bengals with Andy Dalton. They couldn't ever get out of the wild card round, but he's not in his prime. Andy Dalton's a veteran, but he's not in his prime. He might
Yeah.
play better than Bryce Young, but they're not gonna win the game. I got Raiders all the way, man.
Yeah, I'm going Raiders also. I think knowing how the Raiders tend to either play up or down to their opponent, whichever
Yeah.
way they have to do it, I think it's going to be closer than we expect.
Yes,
But
that's true.
and especially with Andy Dalton coming in and kind of, all right, this is how we need to do it.
He's a leader.
Um,
Yeah, he'll
yeah,
calm things down. He'll
yeah,
manage the game better, probably. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. I think Raiders win it in probably a 1-score game.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, 49ers at Rams. Another hard one. I like the Rams coach McVay. I like the quarterback. The old Detroit Lions quarterback. He's a tough guy. I was glad he got a Super Bowl win a couple years ago with the Rams. I know his name is on tip of my tongue.
Stafford.
It's Matthew Stafford, but
Yep.
I think this will be another away team. I've been picking mostly home teams, but I do think the 49ers will bounce back on the road. I think they'll play better. I was surprised they lost last week, but I think they're gonna in Minnesota. But I think they'll bounce back. I got 49ers in this one. So Rams are struggling right now. A lot of people hurt, like you said. You picked that one right. Then lose to Arizona, but I think me and Monty had Arizona. You had the Rams because all those injuries. You were
or vice versa. Yeah, vice versa. Yeah.
Because they got blown out against Arizona. That surprised me because Arizona usually has nothing, but they whooped them bad. So I got 49ers in this one.
Yeah, I got the Niners also. Yeah, Cardinals offense can score. And I know we'll get to that soon, but I'm going with the Niners. The Rams have more injuries than anybody else to their starting lineup. Especially they don't have Cup and they don't have Nakua right now.
Nope. They got nobody.
No, they got a running game and that's it. I'm going with the Niners right now.
Yeah, they got
Fred Warner is just going to destroy that running game that they have.
Yeah,
so.
They got too many guys hurt, man, on offense. Yeah. Next game up, like to talk about Lions at Cardinals, man. I think Lions are still legit. I mean, they're good. They did lose, last week to Tampa Bay. That was a good game. I didn't see that game, but it was a close game. Like the Tampa Bay Bucks got their revenge. Cardinals do got an offense. I don't know how to pick this one, but it's gonna be a close game. I think the Lions can squeak this out, though. I like their coach. I think he's a meathead. Sometimes he's a little bit overly aggressive, like we were saying about coaches being overly aggressive. I think he's a meathead, but he has changed their culture around. So you still gotta give him a lot of credit for a lot of different things. I just think they should have been playing in the Super Bowl if he wasn't a meathead. But they still have a good team. Cardinals, I think, are very up and down. They do have a good offense, but I just don't trust the Cardinals enough week in and week out. So I got the Lions. You might go against me. I know you're going against me in a couple picks here, but I think the Lions will squeak this out on the road. So,
I picked the Bucks to win last week. Also, I was 9-7. I'm keeping track of these.
Yeah,
I'm writing
you're
them
doing
down.
good. Yeah, I think you're beating me and Monty. We need to start keeping track of that.
Yeah, I'm keeping track. I was 9-7 last week. I'm going with the Cardinals again. I'm a believer in Kyler Murray and James Conner and the way that they're playing offense.
I like Conner.
Yeah,
Murray can't stay on the field though. But if he stays healthy, they're better. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's playing very good football right now. He's got to stay healthy. So hopefully he does. Marvin Harrison Jr.
I forgot about him. He had a big week last week. Week 1 he did nothing, but he looked really good last week. Yeah,
and they're also utilizing Greg Dortch, wide receiver from Wake Forest University. The Jets picked up undrafted free agent. He's seeing some success in Arizona right now, so good for him. Trey McBride, they're giving him numbers too, but I believe in this Cardinals offense, and I think they're going to put up enough points to beat the Lions to where they can't score that many.
All right. Yeah, I'm just trusting the Lions system, but you could be right. I think the Lions have been good. They were good last year. I still think they're good this year. They have good play on both offense and defense, but it should be a good game though. I just don't trust the Cardinals overall. But you're right. They looked really good last week and they have a good offense. But I'm still sticking with the Lions. We'll talk about this next week. Who got some of these picks right when and I mean you had 2 or 3 different choices this week. So we'll go back and talk about that. Here's the game I'm worried about. Ravens at Cowboys. Oh my God. Ravens are 0-2, which is surprising, like we said earlier. Cowboys look good one week and look horrible the next, but they are playing at home. Cowboys had like a 16 or 17 game winning streak going into last week and got blown out, So they ended their home winning streak. I expect the Cowboys to play better on both sides of the ball. Ravens do have a really good defense again. That's one thing I'm worried about. Cowboys running game is still suspicious, like me and Monty think, but CeeDee Lamb needs to play 4 quarters of football. It seems like in the first 2 weeks, he plays good in the first half, and he does absolutely nothing in the second. A little bit worried about that. A little worried about the Cowboys running game. I'm worried about the Ravens being desperate, being 0-2. But I will not go against my Cowboys. Picking my heart here, not my head. I'm worried about the Ravens being desperate, but I hope the Cowboys will not lose 2 weeks in a row at home is what I'm going with. So I will go with the Cowboys in a very close game. Like I'll probably win this game by like a game-winning field goal or some crap like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm
I'm
going.
only going with the Cowboys because they're my team, but yeah, I
I know.
think the Ravens are much more desperate than the Cowboys
Mm,
being 0
Yeah,
2. That's what scares me. Yeah.
I can't see John Harbaugh losing 3 in a row to start the season. I don't think he's
Yeah,
ever
you're
done
right.
that.
You're right,
I don't.
man. I might just
And I
change
don't
my
think
pick
he will.
here. I want to go
Yeah.
with the Cowboys, but yeah, I don't think the Ravens can lose 3 in a row either. Yeah.
No, no, they're. I think they'll figure it out. They'll get together. I think the loss to the Raiders was a fluke. I don't know how they did that, honestly, but good on the Raiders. They won it. They earned it. As far as the Ravens, though, it's just weird to see them. Yeah, I mean, you had the Chiefs in Kansas City to start the season. Fine, like I can see how you.
They're playing at what are they playing overseas? But either way, they played somewhere else, but I can't
Yeah,
really play that. But that was the Kansas City Chiefs, like I said, the defending Super Bowl champions. And that was a good
yeah,
game. You know,
yeah, yeah.
they're a toe tap away from tying the game and getting overtime. And who knows who wins or loses the game after that? So
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's so, and their offense woke up in the second half too, and they started to come
yeah,
back. But I think Lamar is gonna. I have the feeling he's gonna run over Dallas.
yes.
It's just the way
Dallas
that
has no
he.
run. They have not answered the call. You know what? I just don't change my
No.
pick and stick to my guns, but I will pick the
Yeah.
Ravens. I'm a Cowboys fan, but
Yeah.
I have to be objective here and not pick with the Cowboys. So yeah, I think the Cowboys will lose this game. You're
Yeah.
right.
Just
Lamar
the
Jackson's going to run all over him probably. And
speed seems.
Cowboys
Yeah.
run defense is still very suspicious. They have not answered that at all.
Yeah. The
So
run defense and just speed seemed to kill that
yeah,
secondary with
yeah,
Shaheed. But you got Zay Flowers back there now. That's going to hurt them too. So,
I agree.
um,
Cowboys are going to
yeah,
lose. I
yeah,
expect them to still squeak in the playoffs. Cowboys are going to be like a 10-7 team, 9-8. They
yeah,
might squeak in the playoffs, just like me and Monty predicted. We didn't think they'll be as good as they've been in the past 2 or 3 years. They just have no. The questions are on the running side of the ball, man. That's the Cowboys' biggest
yeah.
problem.
And the
So
Cowboys will probably win. I think they'll sweep the Commanders, they'll sweep the Giants, and then they'll probably split with the Eagles.
they can still squeak in, like
Yeah,
I said. They
yeah.
can squeak
You'll
in.
get 5 wins in the division.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they can
yeah,
squeak in, but I've questioned them from the very beginning of the year with their running game, and they still have answered the call defensively with their
no,
running defense. So they're going,
no,
yeah.
no.
Sunday Night Football, Chiefs at Falcons. Kirk Cousins did look good. Man, this is another hard one. Can Kirk Cousins win 2 primetime games in a row? That's the question. I would like to see him do it. I know Chiefs aren't as good offensively. They are the defending Super Bowl champions. They are 2-0. I think, even though they won last week, the Chiefs, I think Patrick Mahomes had his lowest throwing yardage in like since he's been a star.
Yeah.
Only 150 some yards in the passing game, but they still won the game with him not having a great game.
Hmm.
Uh, it's hard to trust the Dirty Birds. This is another hard pick. I might lose almost all my games this week. I would love to see Kirk Cousins win 2 times in a row on primetime football. Can the Chiefs start off 3-0, or can the Falcons be 2-1? That's the question.
Yeah,
Falcons didn't
yeah.
look good in week 1, but they won. They looked good. They won against the Eagles. You know, the Eagles had some
Hmm.
mismanagement, like you said. They won though, and Kirk Cousins had a game-winning drive. I'll go with the Super Bowl champs. I guess I want to pick the Falcons in my heart. I want to see the Chiefs lose, honestly, but
Yeah.
I would like to see the Falcons win. But I'll pick the Chiefs to start off 3-0. Like they got the pedigree, man.
They,
It's so hard. It's so hard.
it
There's a lot of hard
is.
choices this week. It's so hard this week.
Yeah. Yeah, this is tough. Yeah, I do want to see the Chiefs lose. I'm not really a Chiefs hater. I'm really not.
I'm not
I
a
think the
hater, but
big
I like to see Kirk Cousins do well to answer all of his critics.
yeah. Yeah, I think this Falcons team can be really fun to watch once they get some rhythm, get clicking, and some chemistry
Yeah.
together. I am going to go with the Falcons. I don't. It can go either way. It is in
Yes.
Atlanta. Um, I just I'm gonna go with the Falcons on this one. I think the Falcons found something offensively in the last half of that game. It
Yes.
just and like what happened with the Jets, the second half of the Titans, they started to get together and then they completely rolled with that rhythm
Right.
into week 3.
That's a
And
good
I
point.
think the
That's a very good
Falcons can
point.
do that too.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
very
think the
good point.
Falcons can do that too. And I'm also going to say the fact that the Chiefs, while they have Mahomes, they do rely a lot on the run, and Pacheco's out for half the season now. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Really good
I'm going to
call.
go with I'm going to go with off that injury with Pacheco, and I think the Falcons have found something offensively to put up some points at home, and I think I'm going to go with the Falcons on this one, but I'm not surprised if they don't win. So
Yeah, I almost want to change my pick again, but I'll stick with the Chiefs. But the Falcons could win. But
yeah,
I'll stick with the Chiefs. But I want the Falcons to win. Put it that way.
yeah,
I want the
yeah,
Falcons to
so,
win the game.
yeah.
Monday Night Football, 2 Monday night games. The first one, Jags at Bills. I think this is the easier one. Jags are really struggling right now. I think they'll continue to struggle. I think the Bills will win at home. It's tough to play in Buffalo. I think the Bills got this one.
Usually the Jaguars win the battle of Josh Allen's.
Yeah,
So
true.
yeah, even though the Jags have the best Josh Allen, I'm gonna go with the Bills. They just seem to play good in prime time, and it's at home. Jaguars are they're struggling bad right now, so I'm gonna go with
Yeah, they are.
I'm gonna go with South Canada on this one.
Yeah, they got the start. They got to a fast start last year in the first half of the season. They struggled the second half, and it seems like their struggles are continuing from the second half of last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Second Monday Night Football game, Commanders at Bengals. We talk about Jayden Daniels getting his first win. Bengals are 0-2. We know Joe Burrow starts off slow, but I expect him to get his first win. I think Bengals and Joe Burrow will win this game. I don't think they'll be 0-3. Joe Burrow and them are going to come back. I got Bengals in this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals too. I think this is the game that they come back and they win.
Yeah,
they're too talented to be going 0-3.
They're
They're too
0-3.
talented to go 0-3. Yeah,
I think they're 0-3. They lost. They should have won against KC last week, but KC got the game-winning field goal against them, and
a lot of controversy around that game, and I can see why. But I think it was the right call on that defensive pass interference.
Yeah,
Sadly,
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got the Bengals, man. I think
yeah.
Joe Burrow will bounce back. I'm surprised they
Yeah.
lost to England. That was a surprise, but I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah. They don't play right week one. There's
They
something
they
about
they
them.
Joe Burrow started slow like 2 years in a row, and they still make it to the playoffs. So I expect the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for our picks, man. Another great show. Had a lot of topics today. Talked more about college football than I thought we would. Talked a lot about NFL quarterbacks, which I thought was all great. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I almost forgot about Aaron Rodgers. I'm glad to remind me. How can we forget about Aaron Rodgers, man? We were talking about it in our pregame too. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll be back. We'll be back next week for week 4. But let us know what you think about the picks and all the stuff we talk about with NFL quarterbacks and Caleb Williams and Bryce Young and all these kinds of things. So, you got anything in closing, Brandon?
Yeah, all my friends, you guys, you see me tagged in Facebook. Just don't look at me in the thumbnail. Just see if I'm tagged on Facebook and leave some comments, likes, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, they did that the first week. So, yeah, do that again, man. I appreciate it. That was cool, man. All right, man.
Yeah.
Peace out. Have a good weekend. Have fun watching football on today and tomorrow, man.
Yep. Be safe. You too, man. Thank you.
Yep.